We study environment, so first we discuss anti-large deer, Kerala. Okay, so Kerala has sought permission from Union government to allow the use of anti-large to spotted and summer deer in Ayurvedic medicines. Okay, by amending the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, anti-large extension of skull, deer skull, and all the three species of deer found in Kerala: spotted deer, Samot deer, and barking deer shed their antlers annually, which regrow again. State governments and other wildlife authorities have huge opportunity of antelopes in authorities have huge quantity of antelopes in their custody, like the sale and use are banned in India under Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Goa Bird Festival. The second edition of the Goa Bird Festival is being held in January 12 to 14 at Kotigao Wildlife Sanctuary, Karnakona. The State Forest Department is organizing the event with support of Goa Tourism and Goa Bird Conservation Network and birdairpics.com. Kotigao Wildlife Sanctuary was established in 1968 as the second largest national park in Goa. Ramsar Convention on Woodlands of international importance, especially as waterfowl habitat 1971. So it is an international treaty for the conservation and sustainable use of wetlands. It is also known as the Convention on Wetlands. It is named after the city of Ramsar in Iran. Okay, so where the convention was signed in 1971, signed on February 2nd February 1972, 2nd February each year. The World Woodlands Day is based at the headquarters of the IUCN in Gland, Switzerland. The list of the woodlands of international importance included 2,266 Ramsar sites in March 2016. India has 26 Ramsar sites. Hakki Habba Bird Festival, Karnataka. So it is their bird festival, 3-day bird festival which was held at Dharaji Sloth Bird Sanctuary near world famous Hampi and Ballari district, Karnataka. It was the third edition joint organized by State Forest Department and Ecotourism Board in association with the local bird watchers associations. The first two editors were held in Ranganath 2 Bird Sanctuary and Madhya Pradesh district and Kali Tiger Reserve, Uttara Kannada district. The objective of the festival is to create awareness among the people about conservation of birds. New species of ginger recently discovered in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. New species of ginger recently discovered by botanists of the Botanical Survey of India (BSI) in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It belongs to genus Gingiber, are used for its medicinal values by the local, particularly vulnerable tribal groups of the Andamans. Gingiber Pseudosci orosum, like other ginger, it is also edible and its pseudostem is red in color. Its monocotyledonous flowers are lotus shaped with reddish tinge. Fruits are pot shaped, while inflorescence buds and are like pitcher. So birds and butterflies are the Idukki Wildlife Sanctuary. Birds and butterflies survey. So new spotted birds in the sanctuary: scaly thrush, booted warbler, paddy field warbler, blue rocky hill, etc. The rarely sighted newly spotted butterfly species Malabar hedgehopper, Malabar tree nymph, etc. It is becoming a favored destination for migratory birds. It is closely located to Idukki Arc Dam. The Idukki Arc Dam is Asia's biggest arc dam of 555 feet high. Idukki Wildlife Sanctuary, Kerala, the forest tracts, west coast tropical evergreen forest, semi-evergreen forest, many moist deciduous forest, hill solos and grasslands. Average rainfall is 3,800 millimeter, and the highest peak is Bhanjur Meadow, 1,270 meter. Birds Ospare face again listed in the IUCN red category, Great Indian Hornbill, Grey-headed Babul. Here you can see in Eraviculum Wildlife Sanctuary it is. Here you can see in Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. It's Karnataka, okay? And sorry, it is Kerala, I think. Yeah. Here Eraviculum Wildlife Sanctuary, Silent Valley Wildlife Sanctuary, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary. So you can see in its next it is Chalru goat. Chiru goat. India's Environment Ministry has ruled out the possibility of conservation breeding of the Chiru goat, a new near-threatened species, which is used for making the famous Sahatos salts. Chiru goat, which is also known as the Tibetan antelope, has long been hunted for its underfur satos. Last year, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Science and Technology, Environment and Forest has recommended to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change to conserve the breed the Chiru goat, which can then be given to the small makers. The panel said this would provide a sustainable livelihood opportunity to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Chiru goat. In 2017, the Chiru goat species was assumed as near threatened by the IUCN because their current population can only be maintained with continued the high levels of protection in its natural range and strict control on trade and the trade of the salts made from its underfur. The government believes that any relaxations in the protections in the protection against the animal would lead to a rapid population decline due to commercial poaching. Also, Chiru inhabits the high altitude Tibetan plateau and requires large expanse of land for their movement and ranging pattern to fulfill its feeding and breeding requirements. Rearing the goat at captivity is extremely difficult. Besides any attempt to do conservation breeding at Chiru at very high altitude regions of Ladakh, more than 3,800 meter, may neither be commercial, economical, nor feasible, as humans can not be posted there continuously for more than 2.2 to 3 months. It is, you can see. Roadkills App, Wildlife Conservation Trust, WCTO, Wildlife NGO, had developed a mobile app called Roadkills. This app will help citizens to report wildlife deaths by uploading geotagged photographs to public forum. The information generated from the application can help identify crucial sections of roads or railway lines where animal deaths are high to pinpoint regions that require urgent migration measures. The data can also help determine what species are more at risk of specific road or rail stretches. Environment Performance Index 2018. The API report ranks 180 countries on 24 performances and indicators across 10 categories covering environmental health and ecosystem vitality. API is a biennial report released by Yale and Columbia University along with the World Economic Forum. India is at 177th place out of the 180 nations. Whereas China at 120 positions. India's rank is attributed to poor performance in the environment health policy and deaths due to air pollution. So Director General of Foreign Trade prohibited imports of skin of animals. Okay, so Director General of Foreign Trade prohibited the import of skins of animals. Director General of Foreign Trade has prohibited the import of skins of animals like reptiles and furs of minks, foxes, and chinchillas. India's import policy allows import of raw hides, skin, leather, fur skins, or reptiles, milk, mink, pork, etc. But they are subjected to regular under Wildlife Protection in 1972 and Conservation of International Trade and in Endangered Species or WIF Wild Fauna and Flora sites. The Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 allows the slaughter of animals only for subsistence, but this too is regulated to minimize the pain and suffering of animals. Cites Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wildlife, Fauna and Flora, 1973. It is a multilateral treaty to protect endangered plant and animals, also known as the Washington Convention. It has drafted as a result of a resolution adopted in 1963 at meetings of members of International Union for Conservation of Nature. The convention was opened for signature in 1973 and sites entered into force on 1st July 1975. Its aim to ensure that international trade in specimen of wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of the species in the wild, and it accords varying degrees of protection to more than 35,000 species of animals and plants. Okay, Larsen C. Ice Shelf. So Larsen C. Ice Shelf, located in Antarctic Peninsula, witnessed an enormous rift which has disproportionately grown in past few months, now extending up to 175 km long. British researchers monitoring the rift as a part of the project Midas says that only 12 miles now cannot connect the chunk of ice out to its parent ice shelf. If the rift fully মিষ্টি খাবেন না ও কতটা ওইটা পুরোটা ওই বাবা আসুন বাবা তো তার থাম সময় দইছে বোতলটা এখনো তুলে এনে দিতে বলতো এই জন্য গেল सब समय देखो है ना ठीक है ना 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 licensing this British researchers monitoring the rate of as part of Project Midas says that only 12 miles connect the chunk wise of to its parent itself. If the reef fully extends, the resulting iceberg would be approximately 5,000 square kilometer and will be one of the biggest icebergs ever recorded. Though there is lack of credible evidence to directly correlate calving of iceberg with global warming, but it indeed so climate change has caused the thinning of the ice shelf. So garbage emergency. Bali has declared a garbage emergency across the 6 kilometer stretch. So, Indonesia is the world's second highest contributor to the marine debris of China. Indonesia is one of the nearly 40 countries that are part of the UN Environmental Clean Campaign. The campaign aims to halt the tides of plastic trash polluting the oceans, boost recycling services, curb the use of plastic bags, launch cleanup campaigns, and raise public awareness. As part of its commitment, the government has pledged to reduce marine plastic waste by 20% by 2025. Now we've seen Indonesia. Here is Indonesia it is. Okay, so it is Indonesia. Huge project. It is a bid to first try utilization of India's rights under Indus Water Treaty. The DPR of Huge project was recently submitted by Central Water Commission to the Jammu and Kashmir government. The DPR will help India to utilize a part of the flow that was presently goes across border unutilized. The Huge project is a step towards India's utilization water of the Indus and its territories in keeping with its rights under the treaty. The project, which is to come off in the third district, will store around 0.65 million acre feet MAF and of water from which a tributary of Ravi to irrigate 30,000 hectares and produce from 2,200 megawatt of power. The Indus Water Treaty, 56-year-old Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan, has been instrumental in the peaceful sharing of water of Indus and its territories. So, signatures Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and Pakistan President Ayub Khan. Rivers Ravi, Satluj are to be governed by India, while Indus, Chenab, Jhelum by Pakistan. India is allowed to use 20% of Indus water for irrigation so it is Indus in the river. A permanent body called Indus Water Conservation solves dispute arising over water sharing. Ravi in the river Indus originates from China, but it is not a part of the treaty. Ant species in Andaman. Scientists have discovered a new species, Tatromo tetra Moriukis krishnani and Tetramorium jarawa in Havelock Islands, a part of the Andaman archipelago. The ant species are endemic to the Andaman Islands. They dwell in leaf litter in the evergreen forest of the island. The species are named in honor of late scientist K.S. Krishnan and after the Jarewas, the indigenous people of the island who were inhabiting the island. No development zone. River Ganga Regeneration Protection and Management. The River Ganga Regeneration Protection and Management Authority's order 2016 provides that the bank of River Ganga distributed on or the active flood area of them shall be considered construction free zone. It also prohibits construction of any structure for residential or commercial or industrial or any other purposes. The National Green Tribunal has directed provided by the demarcate the floodplains of River Ganga from Haridwar to Unna. Once the demarcation of flood plains is completed, 100 meters from the edge of the river would be designated as no development construction zone. Further, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change also circulated draft notification on river conservation zones in 2015 to all state Ministry of Water Resource, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation has taken up the matter with all the states. Only Uttarakhand, Rajasthan and Manipur have enacted the legislation. So highly polluted states can put to Varanasi and Dakshineshwar to Ulvaria district. So here you can see numerous hydel projects, decreased environmental flow, relatively clear, very cleaner but assimilative capacity, decreasing growing pollution, growing cities, polluting industries, very high pollution level, and very high pollution level. Very high pollution level, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Reduction in ozone depletion. The scientists have observed for the first time the level of ozone destroying chlorine air declining, resulting in less ozone depletion. There have been an international ban on chronic chlorine-containing human-made chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons. Measurements show that this has resulted in about 20% less ozone depletion during the Antarctic winter than there was in 2005. Stratospheric ozone protects life of the planet by absorbing potentially harmful ultraviolet radiation that can cause skin cancer and cataracts. CFC are long-lived chemical compounds, but that eventually rise into the stratosphere in the long months of polar winter. Chemical reactions take place in polar stratospheric clouds that could not take place anywhere else in the atmosphere. These reactions convert in the inactive chronic chlorine and CFC into the more active forms, especially chlorine gas. When the sunlight returns to the south pole in October, UV radiation rapidly breaks the bond between the two chlorine atoms, releasing free chlorine. Chlorine atoms go on to destroy ozone molecules, resulting in Antarctic ozone hole. The measurements are made by microwave LIMS sounder abroad, and ALRA satellite, which has been monitoring continuously since 2004. Here you can see UV causes the chlorine atom to break away from form the CFC molecule. Here free chlorine will continue to deplete ozone in the stratosphere, the result of which another free chlorine atom Protocol. The Montreal Protocol is an international agreement adopted in 1997 to control the production and consumption of specific man-made chemicals and that destroy to the ozone layer. Ours protective seal. The Montreal Protocol says that the production and consumption of compounds that deplete ozone in the stratosphere, chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, carbon tetrachloride, and methyl hydrochloroform are there to be phased out by 2030. Montreal Protocol adopted in 1987. 191 have signed Montreal Protocol, including all the CARIFORUM countries. India signed Montreal Protocol on 19th June 1992. So here you can see troposphere, Earth, troposphere, ozone layer here in the stratosphere layer. So it is now in here ozone layer, but it is now 90 kilometers here is shown, but it is now located actually not there. Okay, 30 to 50 kilometers. The ionosphere mesosphere. Okay. National Clean Air Program. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has formulated National Clean Air Program as a long-term, time-bound national level strategy to tackle the increased air pollution problem across the country. The overall objective of to ensure a comprehensive management plan to prevention, control and abatement of air pollution. The NCAP focuses on collaborative and participatory approach over covering all sources of pollution and coordinating between relevant central ministries, state government, local bodies and other stakeholders. A separate component on technology assessment cell has been envisaged under NCAP to evaluate the technologies for prevention, control and abatement of air pollution. Flamingo Festival context. The 3-day annual Flamingo Festival is being held at Pulicat Lake. Flamingo Festival is held every year to promote tourism in Pulicat and Nallapattu. Flamingo Festival is being organized for the past 12 years. Migratory birds from Siberia have been visiting this place for breeding. Nallapattu Bird Sanctuary, Pulicat Lake on the Andhra Pradesh-Tamil Nadu border. About Pulicat, it is a it is the second largest brackish water lake lagoon in India after Chilka Lake. It straddles the border of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu states with over 96% of the Andhra Pradesh of it in Andhra Pradesh. The barrier island of Sriharikota separates the lake from the Bay of Bengal and is home to the Down Space Center. Two rivers which feed the lagoon are the Arani River of the southern tip and the Kalangi River from the northeast in addition to some smaller streams. The Buckingham Canal, a navigation channel, is part of the lagoon on its western side. So now microbeads. A UK-based ban on the manufacturing products containing microbeads has come into force 99 January. Manufacturers can no longer any ties to any pieces of plastic to wash off cosmetic and personal care products. What are microbeads? Okay, it is a nutshell. Microbeads are tiny pieces of plastic found in many beauty products such as exfoliating scalp, toothpaste and more. What are the microbeads for the environment? Evidence has shown that microbeads can find the way from your bathroom to the sea. Trillions of tiny pieces of plastic are accumulating in the world's ocean, lakes, and estuaries, harming marine life and entering the food chain. The US passed the Microwave Free Waters Act 2015, which required companies to stop using microwaves in beauty and health products by July 2017. Automated Ocean Pollution Observation System. It is an initiative under the National Center for Ocean Information Service in COIS, an autonomous body under the Ministry of Earth Science. Indian government has planned to set up an automated ocean pollution observation system. These systems will be installed in coastal areas of West Bengal, Goa, Mumbai. Okay, so these systems will be installed in coastal areas of West Bengal, Goa, Mumbai, Kochi, Visakhapatnam, okay, and Chennai. So automated ocean pollution observation system. This system will be installed in coastal areas of West Bengal, Goa, Mumbai, Kochi, Visakhapatnam, and Chennai. It will be. It will help keep a tab on ocean pollution levels apart and provides insights on how the marine systems is changing. Himalaya Research Fellowship Schemes. Okay, the Indian Environment Ministry decided to start it. This is among the series of programs of the Ministry of Environment for Climate Change running for conservation and protection of Himalaya. Aim of the scheme to create a young pool of trained environmental managers, ecologists, and socio-economists. This pool will help generate information on physical, biological, managerial, and human aspects of Himalayan environment and development. The fellowship scheme will be executed through various universities and institutions working in the Indian Himalayan region. Preference will be given to the institutions from northeastern states. Sea turtles in India. There are 5 species of sea turtle in Indian waters. Okay, leatherback, loggerhead, hawksbill, green and olive ridley. Ocean status of these turtles are hawksbill, critical endangered green turtle, endangered leatherback, vulnerable loggerhead, vulnerable, and olive ridley, vulnerable. Through Kyoto Protocol 1997, Indian cabinet had approved the ratification of the second commitment period 2030 to 20 of the Kyoto Protocol on containing the emissions of greenhouse gases. The Kyoto Protocol was adopted in Kyoto, Japan on 11 December 1997 and entered into force on 16 February 2005. Kyoto Annex 1 and 2. Annex 1 nations who pledged to reduce the greenhouse gas by themselves. Examples: US, Russia. Annex 2 nations. Annex 1 nations who pledged to reduce greenhouse gas by themselves. Example: US, Russia. Annex 2 nations who will give finance to third world. US. Non-annex India, China, Brazil, South Africa. Annex A and B. A list of greenhouse gases is the CO2, CH4, NH2, N2O, CH6, perfluorocarbons, PFC, hydrofluorocarbons. List quota of Annex 1 quota on reduced C6 greenhouse gas mechanisms to stimulate green investment. Emission trading mechanism allows parties to the Kyoto Protocol to buy emission permits for greenhouse gas from other countries to help meet their domestic emissions reduce targets. Purchase certificate clean development mechanism to meet countries can meet their domestic emission reduction target by buying greenhouse gas reduction units from projects in non-annex A1 countries in there to the protocol technology projects to reduce emission in developing countries. Joint implementation Annex 1 countries can invest in emission reduced projects. Action projects refer to the joint implementation project in any the next one country as an alternative to reducing emissions domestically between industrial countries emission action projects. Online of the quadri mechanism system of utilized greenhouse gas overseas to our initial allocations of the achieving the greenhouse gas emissions. So here you can see in the diagram joint implementation internal implement emissions reduction project. India's stand on climate change. Responsibilities as first world CAPRDR, third world not to be BR, Commonwealth differentiate responsibilities, voluntary goal 2020, reduction GDP by 20 to 25% compared to the 2005 NAP double C solar mission 50 to 58 both adaptation and mitigation funding. India stand on the funding to get 50 to 50 adaptation and mitigation technology transfer. UNFCCC, UNFCCC Article 11. First worlds to give access and technology. Third world. India ready to protect IPR and pricing tag. We should not violate it. So give discount. So thank you, friends.